as you start branching and merging, there's one thing that you will almost certainly run into, especially when you're working with other people on the same project. Version control will help us keep track of changes to files, and it will help us have many people working together on the same project. And when many people are working together on the same project, they will often be working on the same files. And while merging can do its best to help figure out how to take two different people's work and stitch them together, sometimes it can't, and sometimes it shouldn't. Sometimes it doesn't really know what to do when it's trying to take two different people's work and put them together. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a look at what happens when you have a merge conflict. I'm going to make a new branch here, and this branch is going to be called getBranchArgument. So I'm going to have two branches in my project right now. One of them is called main and one of them is called argument. I'm going to switch to argument, and I'm going to make a new file here. I'm going to call it argument.md. In this file, what I'm going to put is, this is an argument. And the argument that I'm going to have is, your father smells of elderberries. I'm going to write and quit, and I'm going to commit this file. Git commit -m. This is part of an argument. I'm going to switch back to my main branch now. So if I do git status, there's nothing to commit. I'm on branch argument. I have this file that's called argument.md. Git checkout or git switch main. And then what I'm going to say is I'm going to edit the same file. If I type ls here, argument.md is gone. Remember that when we switched to argument, this new branch off of main, and we committed something, we added this new file. But as soon as we switch back to the main branch, so as we go back here, that file doesn't exist anymore. So I'm going to make the same file with the same name. This is also an argument. Your mother is a hamster, period. And I'm going to write this and quit. I'm going to commit, add argument.md, and I'm going to commit. This is the other half of an argument. The state that I'm in right now is that argument has its own file that's called argument.md, and I've got this main branch that has this new commit that's called argument.md. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to say git merge argument. What this tells me immediately is auto merging argument.md. Git is going to try its very best to get these two files put together in a way that sort of makes sense. But when it can't, it tells us that it can't. If I type git status here, what this is going to tell me is that I'm in the middle of a merge. So you have unmerged paths, and it tells me specifically which file has been unmerged, and what it says is that both added these files. I'm going to edit argument.md right now. What this shows me is that this is what came from the head branch or the head commit. Head is a special word in Git that says this is the very last thing that you committed to the main branch. The very last thing that I committed to the main branch was to say this is also an argument and your mother is a hamster. Everything that's under these equal signs, so this is only showing up as a markdown heading because we have a markdown file here, but these equal signs were inserted by Git, and what Git is trying to tell us is that everything below those equal signs comes from this branch that we called argument here. So in the branch argument, this is an argument. Your father smells of elderberries. The way that we complete this merge, we resolve this merge conflict, is to edit this file. So I'm going to delete that line. I'm going to delete that line and that line. I'm going to delete that line and that line. And I'm going to delete that line. I want to have these two things here. I'm going to save and quit this. And I'm going to say git status. Git status says there are unmerged paths. The way that we complete this is to say git add argument.md and git commit -m, merge arguments together. If I say git status one last time, I'm ahead of origin main by several commits, but if I have argument.md, it will consist of just the lines that I've got because I've edited those files. Merging conflicts like this is something that you'll run into when you're working on a project with other people that have interests in the same files. So if they're editing features or creating features or fixing bugs that all rely on the same file for changing. Merging those conflicts is really just opening it with your editor or your IDE and fixing it so that it compiles or so that both of the features are complete.